Here is the Mk3 control panel after I got it installed on. I had to trim some material off each of the edges because this was I guess the control panel. I sort of remember an Mk3 machine where the sides stuck out past the machine, so it was a lot longer and a little bit wider as well, so I had to trim some there. But I think it turned out pretty good overall. I put the red T molding from the old control panel back on. I'm gonna be getting an all new control panel overlay, a custom designed one. It's gonna be the Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 theme with the skulls on the sides. It's gonna have the skulls, and then I'm gonna have them put MK up here in big letters with like a lightning in the background, and then I'm gonna have collection down here with a K. They're both gonna have like lightning behind them, and they're gonna be in the Mortal Kombat font and probably the orangish reddish colors. And then there's gonna be two dragons, one on each corner, and it's gonna have skulls on both sides. It's like a black, maybe a little bit of blue in there. I'm gonna get the same done for my marquee. It's gonna say Mortal Kombat Collection with the skulls all over it. Pretty much an Ultimate Mortal Kombat marquee, just with the words changed, and then a little bit of things added onto it. So I'm gonna get that made. But for now, for the time being, this Mk3 overlay is what I have. I did clean it up. I installed all my buttons. I installed all my buttons from my old control panel, so they all work good. I have the run buttons now, but the run buttons aren't hooked up yet, but they're there. And I used the black joysticks because I figured that the black joysticks look better on here than the red ones did. The only thing I don't really like about this one is where I trimmed the plexiglass. It's a little rough around the edges, and the overlay, you can see like this cloudiness in the decal or whatever, and like changes in color. I don't really like that. The plexiglass isn't in the best shape. There's scratches and scuff marks and burns and stuff on it, so it's not in the best shape. But for the time being, it'll work. I just wanted to have the run button, which is why I did this whole thing. And it does come out in the center more. It's kind of like curved out here, and the plexiglass is cracked right there, and you can see how the overlay wasn't quite wide enough, and where it stops. The one I'm getting made is going to be long enough so you won't have this line right here come to a stop. It'll actually go the whole way. But overall, I think it turned out pretty good. I'll show you the other side. Open it up. I managed to put the original locks on there, to the latches or whatever I guess you can call them, to hold it down. Got them on there. So here you can see the bottom. I put these brackets, took them off the old Mk2 control panel and put them on the ends. These had brackets up here for some kind of different mounting. Also, this control panel, it looks like it was reused a couple times. You can see where somebody took like a Dremel or something and dremeled these channels in order to get the buttons to fit. And down here it looks like a hole was filled in, a couple holes were filled in. So it's the same on that side. And there is a hole there that's, I don't know what that was for. So this control panel probably had different uses from before, and there's part of where a hole would have been, I guess. But I managed to drill holes for this piece here, get this piece on so it lines up pretty nicely with the monitor, It does hit a little bit. It's not perfect. The hardest part was getting that on there perfect or close to perfect so it would shut without hitting either side. And the only way I could really find to do that is just to kind of guess, because I mean I wasn't able to hold this up and mark it with a marker, because it could have moved as I marked it or whatever, and then it would be off. So I just kind of guessed. But I hooked the chain up that was on there, and everything's wired up just like it was. I didn't change any of the wiring. There's the run button. I got the little switch installed on the back, but there's no wiring going to or from those buttons yet. I got to figure out how to do that. And I reinstalled the ground there. I just used various screws I had laying around to hold it on. They seem to work pretty good. But for now, this is how it's going to be until I get that control panel overlay. And then I'm going to probably get another piece of plexiglass, I guess, and try to cut it down so it matches. The hardest part's going to be doing this curve here. That's definitely going to be the hardest part, cutting that out and then cutting it so it doesn't crack and everything. So if you guys have any tips on for that, let me know. But once I install the other control pin, well, once I get the overlay, I may switch back to the red joysticks, or I might get different colored joysticks. I'm not sure yet, and I'm not sure what color I'm going to keep the T-molding, whether I'm going to keep it red or if I'll change it to like a blue maybe, because I guess this will be like a darker color, so blue would look pretty cool. It'd be different looking. And I don't want to cover that up with anything. I mean, a decal will probably leave like sticky goo and stuff. You'd ever try to take it off. So I don't think I'm going to cover that up. I'll probably just let that go. Let it say Mk2. Because I don't want to damage that. That's not a sticker. That seems like that's painted on there. And the sides I'll probably just leave the same. I'm going to leave Raiden on the side. I'm not going to change any of that stuff. That's all going to say Mk2 still. But it's just going to be the marquee and control panel that are different. And these aren't stuck on here. I just have them sitting on here. I was originally going to try to put these like at the top corner or whatever. I ended up messing this one up. Apparently there's like 2 parts to it or whatever, and as I peeled it apart, actual like lettering and everything started coming off, and ever since then you couldn't put it back together right. It just doesn't look right, so I didn't bother putting them on. But that's pretty much it. Just wanted to show you guys how it turned out.